Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is episode 4 of The Slam. I'm your host, Martina. So, today we are going to be discussing the Bloodline and the White Rabbit. So, if you've been following WWE lately, you will see that the Bloodline is all the rage right now. Obviously, Roman Reigns is still the undisputed champ. Sami Zayn and Jay have a lot of tension within the bloodline. It's clear they're leading us to hang you. Um, oh, sorry, I was saying, I got a little notification on the screen that it says I'm having connection issues, but hopefully that will be resolved. But yes, it's taking us to the lyrics of Malachi Black, formerly Aleister Black, leading the lyrics to his theme song. It's kind of all over the place right now, and there's a lot of theories about who is the White Rabbit. So we're going to get into that today. We're also going to talk a little bit about Dynamite that was last night. Today is Thursday, September 29th. So Dynamite was last night in Philadelphia. So we're going to be talking about that. So let's get started. So the future of the bloodline. So as I said, if you've been following WWE, you know that the everything going on with the bloodline is it's kind of uncertain right now. Is Sammy going to get kicked out? When are him and Jay actually going to come to blows? Sammy with Solo Sokoa is now getting kind of a big head. He started wearing shades. He went from being, the scared guy running around behind Roman to getting a little bit more arrogant. And with Solo being the enforcer, it's interesting to see, where Sammy is going to go with this. It seems to me that it's going to end up being Sammy rejoining Kevin Owens. They are real life friends, former tag team partners. It's going to ultimately be them two getting back together and facing the Usos, who are the undisputed tag team champs. That's my prediction there. I also see Roman uh, reigniting his feud with Jey Uso. If you'll remember back in 2020, when they did not have any crowds because of the vid, that was a great feud. And the fact that they are a real life family just makes it all the more intriguing. And if I don't know if you guys saw this, but on I'm pretty sure it was on WWE's their Evil series on Peacock. I'm pretty sure it was there. Jay and Jimmy actually tell you how Roman is actually their uncle. And we say storyline cousin, but in real life, he's actually their uncle, which I find really interesting. So imagine feuding with your real life uncle, and he's talking to you crazy because we know Roman was so mean to Jay. He was so mean to him, manipulative. He's such a good heel. I mean, I don't care what people say. Roman is a great heel. And we see how he's manipulating both Sammy and Jay, kind of triangulating them against each other because that whole episode of Raw this past week where Roman is telling Sammy, hey, take that shirt off because the Usos, Roman, well, Paul Heyman wears a suit, but Solo, Sammy, the whole bloodline came out wearing shirts that say "We the Ones," brand new merch. I'm definitely gonna get one. And Roman cuts his promo, and they're about to leave the ring. Sammy, um, he's always awkward. He does like the awkward, irritating dude so well. He's like, hey, yeah, I want to say something. And Roman is like, why are you talking right now? By the way, take that shirt off and never wear it again. And of course, when Sammy hesitates, he's like, Jay. And so immediately Jay, like on a dime, is like, oh, say the word. On site, he literally rips Sammy's shirt off, and Sammy's standing there looking awkward, and it's seeming like you're like, this is it. This is when they're gonna turn on him. But Roman is so funny. But Roman flips it and it's like, never wear that shirt again because you're gonna wear this one. And he gives him a shirt that says honorary Oos. Hilarious. That whole scene is so masterful because you can see Jay in the background. Like the camera is positioned just so you can see him like he's shaking his head. Like there's so many memes of his face like you can tell he's like, oh, you serious right now? Oh, come on. So that's just that tension is just building. You know it's gonna come to blows later that night. And again, this is Raw from this past Monday. Um, Jay had a match with someone that I can't remember right now. Jay had a who did Jay face? I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But whatever match he was in, Sammy kept interfering, trying to be intimidating, and Jay is taking his eyes off the match. And it's pretty evident that very soon Sammy is going to cost them a win. And Solo is oblivious. He's just the enforcer, like, the whole thing that makes this all the more entertaining is that Jimmy and Solo seem completely oblivious to Sammy's manipulation. But Paul Heyman sees it because during the promo when the Bloodline came out on Raw, he made mention of somewhere in the beginning of the promo, he said something like, some people think it's their idea. And he looks directly at Sammy. So it's interesting, the dynamics with this group. Jimmy and Solo are like, ha, la di da da da, everything's fine. And Paul's like, I see you. Jimmy's like, I see you. And Roma's just over here like, like the master manipulator. It's so good. Like, this is good. People who say the Bloodline is stale, the Bloodline is boring, no taste. You have no taste. You get some culture because this is good TV. This is so soap opera worthy. So the future of the Bloodline. Sorry, my headphones are a little big. So in a nutshell, you can just see the writing on the wall. Sammy is going to either turn on the Bloodline or get jumped or both. That's going to happen very soon. When, I don't know, but it's going to happen at some point. He's going to cost someone the titles, most likely the Usos. He's going to cost Jay a match at some point, and he's going to get swung on. Like, you can just see it. The way when Roman said Jay, like directing him to rip Sammy's shirt off, he didn't even get the whole sentence out. All he said was Jay, and Jay was like, boom, got it immediately. Like, he's just, you can just see his body language is like, man, you just wait one wrong move and it's over. So that's just brewing, and it's coming to a boil. So that's the future of the Bloodline. Now let's talk about the White Rabbit. So as you guys know, over the past several weeks, we've been seeing QR codes pop up here, there, and everywhere. Always very subtle. People walking through the crowd with signs popping up conveniently like right here while someone is cutting a promo, just enough to give people enough time to scan it. So this week, the latest in this QR code saga, the QR code, when you scan it, it takes you to some coordinates, and there's different things in there like Windham this, Corbin that, and I believe it was Fightful Select or one of those large media outlets. Someone was like, I looked up the source code for this QR code, and it leads you to the lyrics of Malachi Black, who is of course now in AEW, but was previously in WWE as Aleister Black. The lyrics to his theme song. Very interesting. The plot thickens because to this point, it seemed pretty obvious that it's going to be Bray Wyatt. Like, I think some people were like, oh, it's going to be Karrion Kross, because he did previously go by the name the White Rabbit as his, performer name when he was in Lucha Underground. But again, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense when he's already on the main roster. He's already going by Karrion Kross. He's engaged in a program with Drew McIntyre right now, him and Scarlett. So it doesn't really make sense for him to shift gimmicks to another heel gimmick. Usually when you shift like that, you're going from heel to face or vice versa. So I personally don't think that's it. Some people are saying maybe it's Alexa Bliss. We know that she was previously a heel, the supernatural heel thing with The Fiend. Some others that people are saying it could be. I actually have an article that references this. One moment, because I thought this was really interesting. Let me just look it up real quick. Okay, and this is actually from, I'm gonna pause it so I don't get copyrighted. This was actually from WrestleLamia, which is a huge YouTube channel. Okay, these are some of the people that they said it could be. They were saying, and I'm referencing this because it's a huge channel, and I thought it was, like I said, very interesting. Because these were some that I had not thought about. Like I said, let me turn the volume down so I don't get copyrighted. They were saying, sorry, I'm trying to make sure I can find it, because, okay, they said, like I said, Karrion Kross, Alexa Bliss. One that they mentioned I had not even thought about, they were saying, what about the group Sanity? Because as you'll remember, Nikki Ash was with the group Sanity. It did not last very long. Sanity was only around a few months, if even that, like not very long before they got split up and we didn't hear from them again. But as you know, Nikki ASH, her superhero character, she's pretty much at the end of that gimmick. She's getting beaten every week. This week we saw her lose to, oh God, who did she lose to? She lost to Candice. Candice LeRae debuted on the main roster. She's been huge in NXT. She's been around for quite a while. She was in the Indies years ago. She has some crazy matches. Like with her debut, people were posting clips from her old matches. I did not know that co-ed wrestling is so big on the Indies. I didn't know this till a few months ago. But people were posting clips of her old matches with the Young Bucks and her taking like huge bumps from Cedric Alexander on the Indies. Like, she's a tough girl. I'm like, wow, that's pretty crazy. She's really tough, like full on rough matches with men. I'm like, dang. So if she can take super kicks to the face and lumbar bumps from men, just imagine she's going to be mollywhopping these women on the main roster. So I thought that was pretty crazy. So she's a G. She's also married to Johnny Gargano, which I think is really interesting because, he just came up maybe a month or so ago. Now Candice is here. Her debut match against Nikki, she won in like 2.5 seconds. And the match ends with Nikki in the corner, like pulling off her mask and crying. And you remember a few weeks prior, or maybe about a month or so prior, she was paired with a Dewdrop, and there were like a few backstage segments where Dewdrop was like, are you ready to be serious now? When you're ready to be serious, you let me know. So they've been teasing her gimmick change for quite a while. So some people are saying maybe it's Sanity returning as far as the White Rabbit. But again, that sounds a little unlikely because a lot of people don't even know about Sanity. I know I didn't until a few months ago. And half those guys are not even there. So don't know about that one. One of the others, like I said, I'm trying to, how do I mute this video? Because I was trying to refresh my memory. I watched this video prior to kind of do my research, and I thought it was really, really interesting. I didn't have enough time to clip clips or take clips because I wanted to just get it out. And of course, I can't even find the mute button at the moment. But long story short, there's a lot of theories about who it could be. Some people were saying maybe it's Baron Corbin. The most unlikely that I saw was Baron Corbin. I'm like, I don't think so. That one, some people, the other ones, they were saying Joe Gacy, who is in NXT. Yeah, so very interesting. And another thing that I just thought about, another reason why people were saying it could be Alexa Bliss is because during her promo on Raw, she did make mention, she was talking to Bailey and she was to the effect, you talk like you're 10 feet tall. Somewhere including the phrase 10 feet tall, and that is in the lyrics to the White by Jefferson Airplane that has been playing. I do find it very interesting that we at home, the viewers at home, are not hearing that. We are seeing the QR codes, the in-stadium viewers, like the people actually at the show, they're hearing the White Rabbit, but we're not hearing it at home. Very interesting. So this whole thing is very intriguing. What seemed overtly obvious that it was going to be the Fiend, it's like, are they gonna throw us off the trail? Because the other theories, like I mentioned, just to kind of recap, they're saying maybe it's Sanity, Joe Gacy, Baron Corbin, Killer Cross. Now I'm gonna tell you who I think it is. To be entirely honest with you, the whole thing with Aleister/Malachi Black's lyrics being the source code, I'm like, okay, this was leaked, or not leaked, but just by one of the dirt sheets, so to speak. Now, we know in the past, WWE is well known for leaking, or should we say divulging certain information to keep us guessing, which makes perfect sense. This is their business. This business thrives on storylines and elements of surprise. So that makes sense. I get why they do that. They have to keep things fresh. They know in the age of the internet, we find out things so quickly. Half the time, we know the whole show's results before it's out, and it's live. It's a live show. So I understand to do that. However, also on Monday, or maybe it was Sunday, Aleister, like I said, Malachi/Aleister Black, who has, for the moment, left AEW. He went on Instagram Live and was basically addressing everything that's been going on, all of the confusion and rumoring his departure from AEW. And he basically came out and said, I'm just taking some time off. I'm not leaving. I'll be back. Who knows when I'll be back? He said that he's getting death threats. He said a lot because he had already made a written statement, and he said that he's basically pissed that he has to keep talking about this. He's like, this is my personal business. Like, he really went in. However, I'm not gonna lie, it just does not make sense to me. Again, unless, it's like two sides. It's like, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Perhaps they did just make the source code those lyrics just to throw us off. That they are known to do things like that. That is their right. We get it. However, with his kind of mysterious and seemingly sudden departure from AEW, and the fact that his wife, Zelina Vega, is still in WWE, it does make you wonder, like, is this a ruse? Is this just to throw us off? Even though he did seem very impassioned on his IG Live. And I remember they said like it was basically him leaving for his mental health, which I understand and I respect that. However, the whole thing with the lyrics is just very suspicious. Again, unless it is specifically to throw us off, the time is very like, is it you? Is this you? Because I think pretty much anyone who watches AEW, you can agree, and to me, it's very sad that House of Black has not been used to the best that it could be. I think it's a great stable. They have a great look. They're menacing. They have a great entrance. They have the bodies. They have the moves. They have it all. Like I've said this so many times on Twitter, House of Black, they have all the makings of a fantastic stable. Look, presentation, music, moves, members, they have everything. I've said, like, what is the issue? Why are they not being used properly? It really angers me because I love supernatural characters and elements, and I'm like, they have it. It's right there. Like, what is the problem? It's what is it? It's kind of hard to tell. Like, what what is Tony and et al. Leadership? What do y'all need to see that you're not seeing? Because it's all there. I don't understand why they can't get a push because they lost a lot. They are kind of similar to Judgment Day. I feel like they're on equal footing of having the makings. You've got the talent, the look, the presentation, et cetera, et cetera. But for some reason, it's just not clicking. Like, it's just not, they're just not getting the push that I feel like they need. They're not getting the wins, they're not getting the title shots. And so now, present day, now Alistair is taking some time off. And then now it's said pretty much the same with Buddy Matthews. It's come out, he's pretty much come out and said the same thing, that he's going to be taking some time off. So I was like, now we're two members down. Now all we've got left is Brody King and Julia Hart, who seems to be thriving in her role with with House of Black, which is great because she was kind of floundering as a face with the Varsity Blondes. Speaking of which, where are they at? Pillman Jr. and Griff. I can't think of his last name. But Pillman and Griff, where are they at? Haven't seen them in a minute. They're underused as well. We'll circle back around to the underused thing. But long story short, this whole White Rabbit thing, I don't know when we're gonna get a resolution. I do still firmly believe that it's Bray Wyatt, but the whole thing with Malachi Black is just very suspicious, and I think that's done on purpose. I think they're doing a good job of keeping us guessing. I'll give them that. Because at first it was like, no, I don't want to hear anything else. It's obviously Bray, just pull the trigger, bring it back. But now it's like, well, not so fast. Maybe it is someone else. At any rate, we'll find out when we find out. And that's kind of the part of it too. Like, we don't know. It's not 100% certain when we're going to find out. Is it going to be at Extreme Rules? Is it going to be at Crown Jewel? We don't know. Not sure. I'm hoping it's soon because we're like foaming over the mouth over here. We're like, who is it? Give us an answer. I would love to see Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt. I thought his character as the Fiend was so deliciously evil. That mask was terrifying. All of them, really. All his masks were absolutely terrifying. The designer of those masks needs to win awards if they haven't already, because they are so evil and horrendous and sadistically disgusting. Like, it's perfect. It's perfect. Like, he was truly scary. I'm a grown adult and I was scared, so I know, like, it served its purpose. To me, his whole character as the Fiend was very much like a modern day version of Kane, like equal levels of terrifyingness. I'm sure a lot of people can relate. Like, Kane's original mask was horrifying. I remember as a kid when it would go red and he would come out. That mask used to scare the crap out of me. It was terrifying when you're a little kid and you're like, oh my God, it was so scary. And the way he moved and the way he would like cock his head to the side like a serial killer. It was so scary. Oh my God, it was so scary. And then, fast forward to today, I think The Fiend was equal levels of like genuinely terrifying. But the way that he went out was raggedy. Not gonna lie, I did not like the way they just basically buried him. They fed him to Goldberg, and we pretty much didn't really hear from him anymore. Randy Orton set him on fire. That was about it. I thought that was kind of trifling. Like, how do you have someone that is presented so strongly, and then you're just like, but then we know now that it is what it is. But yeah, I would like to see Bray because I think he still has a lot of life left. I think he could re reinvigorate, reignite, relaunch that character. He could start a new one. He's a lot like MJF, that he's going to be backed by popular demand. He's a fan favorite, and it says a lot. I've said this before, I'll say it again. It says quite a bit about a talent and their character and their gimmick that you can trend on social media like multiple times a week, and we haven't seen you in months. Same thing with MJF, Naomi, Sasha, Bray. Those four people, they trend almost every single day or multiple times a week on social media without even saying anything. And that's powerful. That it moves merch, it gets views, even just the mere mention of their names gets views. So I I know if we see it, full well management sees it. So my personal hope and prayer is that we find out soon, because I mean, Extreme Rules, Halloween, it's already spooky. There really is no better time to pull the trigger and reveal who the White Rabbit is. It like years ago, I mentioned this before. People remember many years ago, Hell in a Cell used to be in October because that was the whole thing. Hell in a Cell, spooky. But obviously that was in like April, so they switched it around. So now Extreme Rules is going to have the War Games matches. Of course, you still got Hell in a Cell elements without calling it that. Very clever on their part. Um, I think it would be pretty cool now that we know that Rollins and Riddle are going to be in like the fire pit. I think I'm saying that right. Some kind of pit match. And the way that the ring is set up, there's plenty of ways that the White Rabbit could sneak in there. And we know that Rollins and The Fiend have history from their infamous Hell in a Cell match that ended in a DQ back in like 2019. And something that I think that no one's really talking about, it needs to be noted that, remember, Rollins hasn't been right since 2019. When I say right, I mean like he's been crazy. He's did like the whole cult leader thing. He's been a heel since 2019. That's almost 4 whole years. And if you'll remember, The Fiend, his whole thing was hurt, heal, I will change you. Basically, once you get in it with me, you're never going to be the same again. That could be said. It could kind of pick up where they left. Hey, I messed you up so bad. I messed with your head so bad. You ain't been right since. Because he hasn't. He has not been a face since 2019. He has evolved his heel character, but I just think that's a cool point that if the White Rabbit, aka Bray, does debut or maybe I shouldn't say debut, come back during that Riddle Rollins match, it would make sense. And I don't think it would hurt Riddle because this is right up his alley anyway, as a former MMA fighter. I think he would have his time to shine in that match. They could set up in such a way that they get some good time in and then bring in the White Rabbit. That's what I think they should do. I think it's best for business. So it's very intriguing. They've done a good job of keeping us guessing, where it seemingly was overtly obvious. They found a way to kind of be like, oh, wait a minute, there's more to see. And so who knows what else is going to happen, because we still have a little bit of time before Extreme Rules. I think we have another week or two, so we'll see. So tomorrow, because like I said, today is Thursday, tomorrow is SmackDown. We know that the Bloodline, including Roman, is going to be there. It will be very interesting to see what happens, what transpires, because we know here's kind of the ongoing debate. We know that Roman is going to hold those titles, the undisputed titles, until WrestleMania. They have said it without saying it many ways, many times. Um, will he have both titles, like literally both belts? Not 100% sure, but he's definitely still going to hold the Universal one. Like, that's a given. What else do we know? We know Cody Rhodes is still injured. However, this week he did update his Twitter profile picture, which is so funny how when like celebrities do something so um mundane, something as mundane as changing their profile picture, we're like, it's so funny. It's just so funny to me because it's true. We're like, wait a minute, what does this mean? Are you saying you're healed? Or are you saying you're coming back soon? What are you saying? Um, at Sasha Banks WWE, and she changed it to her real name. So Sasha Banks changing her Twitter handle to her real name, and people are like, oh, wait a minute. Again, something so simple. You're like, they're trying to tell us something. So we'll see. As you all know, I'm a huge fan of Sasha and Naomi, huge supporter. I want to see them somewhere. I don't care if it's AEW, I don't care if it's WWE. I want to see them. I hope it's WWE because I want to see them there. But wherever they go, I'll be watching. So let's get back real quick. Okay, so like I said, we know Cody is injured, recovering. He's going to come back. Many people are saying he's going to come back and win the Royal Rumble and face Roman at WrestleMania. Still others are like, no, it's going to be The Rock facing Roman at WrestleMania. At any rate, we're going to see Roman up against Cody and up against The Rock at some point. When we it's not 100% certain. I have said this before and I'll say it again. I love The Rock. Anyone who knows me knows that I have loved The Rock since I was like 8 years old. I'm a huge fan. I always love him. I love The Rock before y'all knew him in Hollywood. Like, we go way back. Okay, I'm a huge fan. However, I'm pretty consistent in this. I am a fan of giving newer, younger talent a chance to shine. And just from, I guess you could say, a morality standpoint, it bothers me that people are saying, oh, you should have him be the one to break Roman's streak and win the titles. I don't think The Rock needs the titles. He's a huge Hollywood star. He's a multi-millionaire, billionaire at this point, I think. He doesn't need the titles because what's going to happen? He's going to have to lose them and go back to Hollywood anyway. I think that's kind of silly. I think it's pointless. And now I understand people are like, okay, Roman needs to learn a lesson. He's going to have to lose at some point. I understand that. But I personally don't think he should be losing the titles to The Rock, who's going to have to lose them very shortly thereafter to go back to Hollywood. I think that's kind of a waste. I personally think it would make more sense for him to lose them to Cody, whose whole point of coming back to WWE is to bring honor to his family and win the titles, which no one in his family has done. Not his father, not his brother. That's his whole thing. That's his whole story. That's why I came back, to bring honor to my family. And what is Roman's whole thing? Honor to his family. He's the tribal chief. He's the head of the table. I think for them to bypass that much family dynamic, family history, family legacy would be crazy. Do y'all know how much merch they would sell? Do you know how invested in the storyline? Like, people, their ratings will go through the roof. People want to see this. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. You're not going to tell me that it wouldn't send a huge message to current AEW talent if they put the undisputed championship titles on Cody Rhodes. Like, if you think people are trying to leave AEW now, do you know how many more will be trying to leave if they're like, wait a minute, you mean that could be me? It will send a message. And we know this is the business. Just take our emotions out of it. These extremely powerful people that run these businesses. They're about numbers, they're about moving the needle, they're about merchandise sales. They're like, show me the numbers. The merch, the views, and that would be a huge draw. So I hope to see that at some point. Still others are saying, well, maybe it won't be at WrestleMania. We'll see it later. I think that's silly. What do we call WrestleMania? The grandest stage of them all. The big one, the big show, the biggest show of the year. WrestleMania is the Super Bowl of wrestling. To not have Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania, whether it's 23 or 24, to me would be crazy. People were saying, oh, do it at SummerSlam. Not the same. And again, that won't be fulfilling Cody's mission. I think you just have to have some consistency there. He got injured. That was untimely, but his whole mission was to come back and win the title. Okay, with The Rock. Okay, like I said, I love The Rock, but he's had his WrestleMania moments. He's a huge star. He's already made a name for himself. He doesn't have anything to prove. I understand the whole thing that, okay, the only one who can stop Roman. Sorry about the sirens. Sorry, so untimely. Jesus. Sorry. Could that get any louder? Sorry. So yes, I do understand. Like, okay, his Roman's whole thing. I've smashed everyone. I've run. Who's left? There's no one left. I smashed everyone. I do get that. However, I mentioned this on Twitter, and I'll say it again. Are we going to believe that Roman smashed everybody who's young and currently in the ring, but he loses to The Rock, who's in his 50s and hasn't fought in the ring in years? Does that make a lot of sense? I don't think so. Is The Rock in phenomenal shape? Obviously. Does he look like a Greek god statue? Absolutely. But are we to believe that he's going to lose to him? I think not. Another piece to this pie that I'm like, y'all better not. I saw this on Twitter that Goldberg did an interview and basically said that he doesn't have any matches left in his current contract, but he can think of a way that Roman could lose. I'm like, y'all better not. Y'all better not have Roman to lose to Goldberg, because we've seen this before. Like I made mention earlier, that's what happened with The Fiend. That's what happened with even Brock Lesnar at one point. He lost to Goldberg. They better not have Roman to lose his titles to Goldberg. I will be so pissed. Y'all better not. No. Once again, and all due respect to Goldberg, I respect him. He's a phenomenal athlete. But once again, he has had his moment. He is in his 50s. And that's fine. I understand everybody gets older, but is it really believable? Like I said, I think there has to be some common sense to this. You're going to tell me he could defeat Brock Lesnar. Roman, that is. Roman can defeat Brock Lesnar. Roman can defeat all these young, agile, mobile dudes on the roster, but somehow he just couldn't pull it off against Goldberg or The Rock. No, come on, that's silly. No, absolutely not. And again, he's had his moment. Like what I say this all the time. Give someone else a chance that deserves it. Is that not the whole point? The whole point is to you make a name for yourself and you bring up new people to keep. I mean, like I said, I see the legacy element. I see I see the vision. I do see the only one who can stop Roman is The Rock. And I get that, but I don't think it should be for titles. If they do that, I don't think it should be for titles. However, again, sorry, my nose is running because of my allergies. With business, I do understand The Rock's name is a huge draw. I do understand that WrestleMania is in Hollywood. I get it. I do. I really do. I get it. I totally get it. I get it. I see it. I understand. I get it. I really do. Do I like it? Not necessarily. I do want to see I guess this is what I'm saying. I do want to see The Rock versus Roman. I like that. I do want to see it, but I don't want to see it at the expense of Cody Rhodes. I mean, I don't want to see that at the expense of Cody Rhodes because, again, again, consistency. Cody was he's another one this whole year. Okay, after he left AEW, as I mentioned earlier, like with Sasha, Naomi, MJF, Bray Wyatt, he and Brandy dominated the social media trends for months before he debuted at WrestleMania. That is undeniable. His name was everywhere. There, every dirt sheet article, every where's Cody? Where's Cody? Where's Cody? Where's he coming? Where's he coming? Like, to just throw away the hype of him coming back, I think is crazy. What a waste. Like we said, we know he got injured. It is what it is. But I guess what I'm saying is, how are they gonna do it? I don't know. I don't know what is so if you're like, well, what's your solution? I don't know. I do want to see The Rock versus Roman. I do. I don't want it to be for the titles, but I want to see Cody win more. And then there is Austin Theory. Don't think I forgot. I know he's Mr. Money in the Bank. So it's like it's so that saying that when you're at the top, everybody's coming for your neck. It's true because you've got The Rock looming, you've got Cody, you've got Austin Theory. Okay, so let me just cut to the chase. What do I think they're going to do? Because again, I know this is the business. It comes down to the coin. What do I think they'll do for business? And again, hype. This is what I think they will do. It's not necessarily what I want, but it's what I think they will do. I do think that it is going to end up being The Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania. I do think that Roman is going to lose the titles, which makes me very sad because I love Roman. He's such a good heel. It saddens me, but I understand it's business. I do think he is going to face The Rock at WrestleMania. What's going to happen with Cody? I don't know. If he this I'm stuck on that myself. And in the comments, let me know what you think because I do foresee The Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania because they've been teasing that for forever. I do think that's going to happen. What's going to happen with Cody? I don't know. Maybe he'll be it's been said, what about 2024? But that's a long time to stretch that out. And we know momentum and timing are everything. And he already got delayed from his title run with his injury. If they delay it to 24, I think it might lose steam. I think that's, the whole saying, strike while the iron is hot. In wrestling, that's like uber true. Because if you wait too late, people are not going to like it. And again, do you really want to risk like something else happening, like even more injuries? What if someone else gets injured? So I don't know about that. I don't know what's going to happen with Cody. So I guess what I'm saying, if The Rock faces Roman at WrestleMania, I don't know where Cody falls into that. I don't know where Theory falls into that. But I'm just going to be real. I don't foresee them putting titles on Austin Theory at this point. Maybe when Vince was there, but Vince is gone. With the players that we have in the game right now, I do not foresee Austin Theory successfully cashing in his Money in the Bank. He'll cash in. He'll fight. I don't think he's going to walk away the champ, which will again be new because if you look throughout Money in the Bank history, almost every time the winner of the briefcase ultimately wins the titles when they cash in. At where we're at now, it's not looking too good for him. His whole character and gimmick is being treated as a joke. And I just don't see it happening. Not at the expense of Roman, The Rock, and Cody. I don't think so. And as far as title runs, that's the main contenders as it stands today, as of September 29th, 2022. That's who, and of course, people will say, what about Rollins? I don't think it's his time right now at this moment, because like I said earlier, I foresee him in a program with the White Rabbit, whoever that ends up being, aka Bray Wyatt. I don't think a title run is in his immediate future. Of course, later, but at this point in time, I don't foresee that. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the situation. I do think we're going to end up seeing Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania. As far as the titles go, I hope it's not for the titles because I think that's silly. But then if it isn't for the titles, you see what I'm saying? Do you see how I'm like, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. You see how I'm like, I just don't know. Because if it's not for the titles, then what? Then what would Theory cash in for? Then how does Cody play into things? Because here's another thing, another piece of that puzzle. If Cody, when he comes back, let's snap our fingers, boom, he's healed, he comes back today. Who is he in a program with? I'm really asking this question to myself in real time. Who is he in a program with? I don't know. Who is he feuding with? Because pretty much all the top, let's be real, the top card people are busy right now. You got Drew and Karrion. You got, Bob, maybe, but no, Bobby's probably going to be feuding with some, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. We'll find out. We will find out. But at any rate, um, Roman is that dude. So everyone wants those titles. So we're going to see. I'd love your feedback. Give me your thoughts. Give me your comments. Follow me on Twitter at SlamHostMartina. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm out there. I love feedback. Tell me your theories. Tell me your thoughts. I already have some of my mutuals on Twitter. We're going to be doing a show because they have very interesting theories about how this is going to play out. I love hearing other people's theories because people open my eyes to things I hadn't even thought about. So I'm open to ideas and suggestions and theories about what's going to happen because we will see. And still others are saying, another something just came to my mind. Another theory that I've heard is somehow Jey Uso is going to interfere somehow and make no, sorry, I got it wrong. A theory that blew my mind that I had not thought about. People were saying, okay, clearly Jey is pissed about what's going on in the bloodline. What if he were to just disappear and then he reappears around WrestleMania season with you know who, The Rock, his cousin, because again, they're all in the bloodline. That's the beauty of it. I'm like, it's keep it all in the family. They took that literally. So if Jey disappears and reappears with The Rock, kind of like, hey, y'all won't listen to me? I got something for that. Maybe you'll listen to the Big Goose, The Rock. Okay. All right. I like this. However, what about the undisputed tag team titles? It sounds to me like in order for Jey to disappear, they would have to get the titles off him and Jimmy, meaning they would probably be losing them to Kevin Owens due to Kevin and Sammy due to Sammy's betrayal. That makes sense because I'm all about what theories make logical sense based on what we have. There we go. That one makes sense. I like this idea. I do like Jey getting his revenge, his comeuppance against Roman because as much as I love Roman, I do like Jey too. He's so relatable. His face has cracked me up. Like I said, just go if you haven't seen it, just type like Jey Uso meme and you will see. I wish I could insert it, but I have to get this out. His faces when Roman was giving Sammy a hug were hilarious. He was just, you could just see the disgust, the irritation, the disdain. He is so over it. He's just so sick of the whole situation. So that theory of him somehow disappearing and bringing back The Rock does make sense. And can you imagine the pop that they're gonna blow the lid off that arena when The Rock comes out? People are gonna love that because again, at this point, everyone knows who The Rock is. He's a household name. He's like, you got Michael Jackson, The Rock, Beyonce, Cardi B. These are people even your grandma knows who The Rock is. That's how I always say that's how you know you're famous. If like your parents or your grandma knows who it is, they're famous. Like The Rock is a worldwide name. So as far as viewership and such, again, we got Crown Jewel coming up. We had Clash at the Castle earlier this year. We know that WWE is all about expanding their reach, expanding their viewership. bringing The Rock back could be fabulous, because the last time they did this and really brought him back for like a serious program was like in 2011, 2013. He came back with Ronda Rousey, and we know the rest is history. So it makes me wonder, if and when he comes back, will he bring someone along with him this time? If so, who might it be? Because like I said, his name is money. So it's very, I think he might bring someone with him. Or when I say bring someone with him, I mean bring someone out later. Like I could just see that happening. Who it might be, not sure. Some have, we'll see. We'll see. It's a lot of theories. It's so funny. The world of wrestling is so many theories, and it's honestly just like making your theories and waiting to see if they come true. So I've been doing a lot of talking, but like I said, comment down below. Give me your thoughts. Let me know what you think. If you think I'm wrong, tell me why. If you agree, tell me why. So again, this has been the latest edition of The Slam. I'm your host, Martina. You can find me on all the socials at Slam Host Martina. Listen to the show, support me. And if you would like to come on the show as a guest, drop me a message, shoot me a DM, drop a line, let me know what you think. Thanks, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.